Shared the Starship Troopers vid to my favorite lefty forum. The reviews are in. Utterly moronic, repackaged fascist problem. This essay is actually fucking evil. Ghoulish. Is literally just Intarte Kunst. Something art. Based. Yeah. Fucking, oh yeah, the reaction in general to that. I should go over that before I talk about the minor little internet stuff, so I can kind of reset. It'll be a much better segue. The reaction to the essay is exactly what I thought it would be. And it's going to lead into a bigger bunch of conversations. I legitimately, this is probably a good period. I'm entering another arc. Before, the last arc went way too long. It was 10,000, glorious 10,000, 10K subscriber VOD gang arc. I just try to put the arc as just whatever's at the top of the stream. Right now we're in back repair mini arc, okay? It's a training arc. We're in a training arc, okay? Post big battles, training arc. We're moving on. The point of this is, I think that the online left and leftism in general is not just cooked. I think it's over and been over for longer than we're going to give it credit for. One of my biggest indicators of where the left stands is unironically the commentary from a guy named Hutch or Hutchinson. Not like if he says the online left is cooked, it's good or it's bad. But Hutch is pretty much, I would say, one of the most normie lefties in existence. And that he's kind of like hyper-focused on calling himself a liberal is the biggest indicator that the Overton Windows modicum of swing that was kind of created by the reaction to Trump politics and stuff that started going pretty far left and included a lot of working class shit has been basically swatted so hard it's got a fucking dent in it away from the left because of just horrific messaging and horrific forefronting of the worst possible people. To be in charge of these movements and to represent the like deeper ideals of these movements. And a lot of that is summed up in the reaction to the Starship Troopers video. And I knew this would happen when I was writing it 6 months ago. And I'm not surprised remotely that it turned out this way. The biggest issue, unironically and without reservation, is that lefties are too sure of their value, too sure of their purpose, and too sure of their efficacy. And they need a massive self-esteem blow that may be impossible to deliver because lefties already lack a significant amount of self-esteem. I don't know exactly what necessarily to do about it other than to articulate it again and again and again and again and again. I think the badness of lefty politics is really easy to articulate in just looking at Hassan and Vosh, who are pretty much the most notable sides of online lefty discourse, which is a sort of progressive, sex positive, no matter what discourse that tends to associate sex positivity with nouveau masculinity, basically articulating sex as being a thing that you must be engaged in or interested in, because being that everyone is like, it's like the rational actor state of the world. Everyone is interested in sex, everybody wants to have it, and we must demand the free access for everybody to have sex with whoever they want to have sex with, right? In general, in his subsection, it's this like sort of progressive movement toward normalization of transgender people, cool, and then also normalization of raunchy fucking sex talk and being very like sexually promiscuous in public. That seems to be the core. It doesn't mean that's what Vosh articulates all the time, but that seems to be the core element that you can't really challenge. That there needs to be some sort of like kind of sexual revolution in America, or that it's happened and then everyone's not really noticing it. And it kind of is manifested And this is a thing that I'm going to be trying to talk about going forward. Is the reason I'm bringing this up. This isn't like a set in stone thing. I've got to work on it to articulate it, which is kind of similar with the Starship Troopers video. That you have to always be pushing towards a sense of sex positivity, and that bringing like sexual intercourse into conversations at the drop of a hat is not just okay, but should be pursued on a path to normalization of sexual content. And any resistance to that is a sort of sex negativity or a pretense toward fascism. Okay. And any resistance is a pretense toward fascism kind of goes to all aspects of the current online left. That is a gigantic peak chunk of it. There's little parts that break down that are more sane, but these sort of barbs are the issues, right? They're the sort of like outstanding aspects. Underneath that, you actually do have valuable stuff like sexual equality, sex equity, equitable access to things like tampons and shit. You know, like the varied and more accurate conversations. But this just happened to create this like accretion that spirals up and makes you very, very noticeable as a person that talks about those sort of things. And I think it gets in the way of other people who are better positioned to have conversations even parallel to that or in the vicinity of that. It sort of occludes them from the public eye in a bad way. On the other finger of the fork, which is much, much higher, is the Hassan subsection of leftism online, which is way more nefarious and way fucking worse, okay? There are conversations to be had about the American imperial footprint. And it's conversations to have. It's not like you get to say your fucking piece, cross your arms, and sit down. It's a conversation. You don't hold the power. You can be a bitch and sit the fuck out, okay, but like literally shut the fuck up while adults are talking, which is the biggest issue with his entire subsection of the internet. This resistance to the American imperial footprint, and literally just the American imperial footprint, and to a lesser extent, what they just call puppet states. So like the Canadian imperial footprint is just the American imperial footprint with like a Canadian flag flying underneath it. And then, you know, you extend out to any state that's ever had a handshake agreement with America. Every single other state that is not immediately part of any American treaty organization, any American handshake agreement across the ocean, any imperial footprint that they have is no such thing. It is merely just a natural reaction of self-protection and a completely reasonable reaction to the existence of American imperialism in the world, and everything is justified through it. That's the other spiral of this, okay? That second spiral is way more nefarious and way worse. First off, because it exists outside the general cultural zeitgeist of American politics. The Vosh subsection of online internet leftism bleeds away pretty fucking fast or turns into something completely different once it sort of leaves the Anglosphere at all, and especially kind of once it leaves American shores. People sort of just ignore that part of the conversation because it's different in Australia. It's different in the UK to some degree. It's different in Canada. It's very, very different when you get a little bit further and further and further abroad and outside of the Anglosphere. It turns into something completely different that's unrelated. Whereas Hassan's has a extreme saturation past his immediate area, and he's just sort of a lightning rod in the middle of it. If it wasn't Hassan, it might be somebody else. I'm not sure. But I feel like at this point, if Hassan gets banned, you're going to see a hydra separation of a series of coiled snakes that all kind of rise up to take his place and continue that conversation. This is to say, just at the very beginning of this, I think Hassan should be banned for at least a month from Twitch. If not, maybe 3 months. If not, maybe permanently. He's a bad person at this point. I'm going to say that raw off rip. Hassan is a bad person. If you're just going to go ahead and just start repeating shit that Hassan says and say, what do you mean? What about? I have nothing. There's nothing of value to speak to you about. Literally nothing. This imperialism is bad, but a lot of American imperialism has slowed down over the extent of the war we were hyper focused on, and other international powers have taken really taken the fucking scene as far as invading other countries and economically manipulating through nefarious purposes, the countries immediately around them. Russia, even before it invaded Ukraine, engaged in mass poisoning campaigns and assassinations on foreign soil. If they are as bad at it, they can only be as bad at us, as us, if not worse. Their invasion into Ukraine has been hallmarked by human rights abuses, genocide. It's literally an attempted genocide of the actual Ukrainian people to Russify the area. That's a genocide. That's cultural annihilation of the Ukrainian people, and they're doing the Lebensraum arguments, and they're doing the cultural heritage arguments and the traditional as of 1522. It's literally all out of fucking Mein Kampf, fucking Hitler's playbook bullshit. Go now, look it up. It's a whole fucking, it's just raw, off rip. Russia's doing China's doing very, very similar things, mostly within their own borders, also a little bit outside of it. They want to do it to Taiwan. They did it to Hong Kong. They're just doing the same types of shit that America does, and the fact that there's a blind spot in that direction and like hyper focus in ours, I don't care about the loyalty of it, but it's the hypocrisy. It's the hypocrisy of it. The hypocrisy of it. It gets me. I can never do it, Norm Macdonald. The hypocrisy. I think it's the hypocrisy. I thought it was the raping. But the biggest issue is that kind of fucking spirals all the way down. So along with that, you have the worst counter response to anything that Israel does, period. It's literally like you could have some sort of in the ballpark of reasonable reaction to shit that Israel is doing, and you could have somewhere of in the ballpark of reasonable interpretation of how Israel's actions and America's relations with Israel are going to affect like the American election that's coming up here in less than a month. And Hassan is cooked. He's nowhere near it. It's fucking insane. Like the most I've ever seen somebody inside an echo chamber in my fucking life. It's actually like legitimately crazy. He looks sick. If you watch him stream, he looks unwell. He looks like he's in a dark place. Like he's always kind of leaning forward. He just doesn't look great. It's like fucking literally the Hitler at the end of fucking downfall level, like pallor going on. Like I just feel like he's gonna at some point see Kamala Harris pulling ahead in Pennsylvania or Michigan, and it's gonna be he's gonna do the fucking headset removal. Fucking goddamn Hassan's a Muslim, so voting for Kamala Harris. Hassan, I'm afraid to say that, yes, in the north of Michigan, they are voting for her in record numbers. It seems that she's going to sweep the state. Fucking Hassan taking his fucking headset off. Like, the dude looks like he's about to fucking crack. He is engaging with terrorists. He's talking about literal terrorists, as though they're little Jewish girls trapped in a fucking attic before they're inevitably killed. Like, you don't, even the fuck La Sabaton in France, you know what I mean? Like the French revolution, or not revolution, the French resistance during Nazi occupation, you don't compare even them to Anne Frank. They're not like Anne Frank. Anne Frank's a little non-combatant hiding to not be murdered in an attic. The resistance fighters are resistance. It's a completely different setup. But it's so when you make that mistake, it's not even a mistake. You're just clearly trying to like whitewash the actions of people, and it's getting fucking ridiculous. Like, it was cute when it was like, you know, I could be more racist than you, Angloid, fucking, you know, Haas infra shit, mechanized mecha communism, mecha space communism, red MAGA, whatever the fuck that shit was. Because it's just so fucking on the nose and ridiculous and so kind of like niche. It doesn't matter. But with this new era of Hassan shit, like literally people are trying to do work here and he's getting in the way. He's creating a conversational narrative that basically precludes his entire dedicated core audience from engaging conversationally with anyone that steps outside those bounds, which is fascism, raw. That's just what that is. Sorry. I don't know if you didn't understand. I'm not American, so I can't be fascist. Like, yeah, okay. Yeah. Very cool. Hassan is literally engaging with a type of rhetoric that has only one, and I've been saying this fucking forever. And it's the most not, I feel like, controversial thing, period. And that's, he is repeatedly articulating black pill terrorist talking points. And he knows what those are because he used to talk about incels. And, you know, incels are literally trying to black pill each other in order to make each other so fucking desperate and so hopeless that they consider engaging in acts of terrorism against innocent people as a sort of last-ditch effort to change their or other people like them's lot in life. He is engaging in that same sort of rhetoric on main constantly as the fucking literal forefront of like pro-Palestine sentiment on the internet. The uncommitted movement is the heart of the uncommitted movement is him. Oh, I'm not always in charge of them. I don't want people associate them with me. Like, and when it's not him, it's people that are immediately under him. They're all fucking interconnected, immediately interconnected. Like 3 degrees of separation from some people like, yo, okay, like literally Israel is committing war crimes, okay? You know, this is fucking psychotic. They need to stop, literally pull back, take a fucking defensive position, and then we need to try to figure out how to talk this to a fucking standstill and start changing the situations that led to this point. And they're like, no, we need like mass retributory violence against them. Like, oh, fucking no, October 7th was justified. You know, fucking, like all of you people are baby killers. Like, what in the fuck are you gonna, what does that do? What does it do? What does it accomplish? Nothing but push people closer and closer and closer and closer and closer towards literally engaging in acts of terrorism, which isn't even a crazy thing, I feel like, for me to say when he's platforming post literally like, I want Jews to be fucking impaled like we did in the fucking Abbasid Caliphate or whatever the fuck. Posting the fucking literal like historical depictions of fucking apostates and heretics being impaled through the asshole and out the fucking mouth, which happened. That was a Muslim type of execution once upon a time. Sorry to say it. Vlad the Impaler literally learned it from somebody. And like, you just defending that guy and saying like, you know, oh fuck, like people are gonna like look back on like, you know, whatever, history's gonna look kindly on it. Like, dude, this is just pro-terrorist talking points. And like, so like you're just cooked. You can't even have that conversation because he precedes it with his talking points. And all the people that are fucking about it are now all fucking black-pilled. They're all fucking doomer-pilled. They're all freaked the fuck out. They're all terrified as shit. And that entire spire of potential conversation, you know what I mean? Like, hey, how to reduce the American worldwide footprint. Yeah, there are probably a bunch of military bases that we could strip down, make more efficient worldwide. Some of them, locals don't want them there, and some of them just aren't as effective as you would think for what they're supposed to do. You can have that conversation, you can shake someone's hand, take a step back, and accomplish certain things while like, you know, you can do some give and take. Is America's entire world footprint and military wise gonna completely decrease? No, because people want us places. They just do. We're never leaving Kuwait. Why? Because the Kuwaitis fucking love us because we stopped them from getting genocided by the Iraqis in the fucking 90s. like the first Gulf War was legit, bro. That shit fucking cracked. When we fucking flew back and blew the shit out of Saddam's fucking army while it was doing withdrawal, based. That was a war crime. Dude, that shit was fucking cool. That wasn't a war crime at all. Fuck you. We'll be back. That shit cracked. I looked it up. Fuck yeah. Based. Dude, fuck Saddam Hussein. I'm glad that motherfucker's dead. Brave talking point. Everyone that's in that region's like, no, that shit fucking slapped. Except for the Baathists. You know what I mean? Fuck that shit. But like, the conversations that we could have about reducing like fucking or the amount of diplomatic pressure we put on places, reducing the amount of like guns and shit, or increasing the amount of reservations that we have to achieve before, or what do you call those preconditions that we have to achieve before providing any sort of economic or military support to certain nations and stuff. Like all of that are conversations we could be having, but they're like way more difficult than your average fucking internet lefty will allow themselves to engage with. They won't even allow themselves to engage with. They preemptively want to find the moment where they can just write people off, which is the opposite of diplomacy, and it is maximalized fascism. Just literally, that is fucking what fascism is, which is why I knew my fucking essay was going to piss people off. That you want to believe that you're the good guy. Guess what? So do all the fascists. Fucking all those goddamn Nazis in fucking World War II. Not every single one of them was waking up every day and twisting up their fucking mustache with mustache wax going, today I fucking do the work of the devil. You know what I mean? Like, oh fuck, every day I've always wanted to do this. They deceived themselves into thinking they were the good guys. They really just did. They fought bravely. They tried to protect each other. They weren't just like fucking orcs from fucking Tolkien. You know what I mean? Like just perverse subhumans that had somehow like mimicked us. They were people like you who got poisoned by an ideology and went fucking cuckoo fucking bananas and did the most evil shit that's ever fucking happened. It could be you too. Ultimately, one of the points of the essay that I couldn't quite fucking hammer home 100%, but I alluded to, and that's what's pissing fucking lefties off. Lefties think that they're above fascism. Lefties literally think that they are above fascism, not because of their constant awareness of the precepts of it and their understanding of it and a depth of knowledge relative to fascism, but just because they think that being on the left of the right just inherently means that you are now an anti-fascist. You are now counter to fascism. Your literal presence on the earth is like one of them fucking angels from like Diablo 3. Like you just have a natural like anti-evil radius around you. And it's not the fucking case. And it's a fucking hard and painful truth that maybe you're a piece of shit. Maybe you're a fucking cunt. I know I am. I'm a bad guy sometimes. I say horrible shit to people. I'm flawed. I'm fucked up. Some of the things I'll never be able to fix about myself. But my meager awareness, at least of those shortcomings, allows me to fucking preempt myself from slipping into way fucking worse places. Way worse places. And that second spiral of the fucking online left, the Hassan subsection, we could be having conversations. Real conversations about how to use America's wealth, influence, and military power to affect the world in a better way, to literally uplift the workers of the world. We could be having those conversations. We could be trying to engage with that diplomatically. But the fucking people on the right who can just turn fucking propaganda on and off instantaneously, play themselves perfectly against people like Hassan. Hassan is nothing but a detriment. Literally nothing but a detriment to leftist talking points at all. He's anti-working class first and foremost, raw. Oh, he donated to Amazon, one of the major donators to the Amazon thing. Oh, he fucking did this. He threw some money around is what you always hear. Oh, he walked out and stood with the fucking writers guys. Like, dude, fucking working class issues are 24/7. And creating people, putting people out there that fucking are willing to shit on workers and just try to distract from those issues at home is a bigger fucking blow to the working class than not donating a $3 million. $3 million. I don't give a shit. Give fucking Amazon's union $3 million. That $3 million is not as valuable as alienating multiple millions of working class people from leftism because you're a fucking psycho. None of it. You can't fucking, sorry, this is a Catholic thing. Shout out to the Protestants. You can't indulgence yourself out of bad actions. This is an ancient rule. Ancient rule. Shout out Martin Luther. He had 99 problems and fucking indulgences were one. Okay? You cannot buy piety. You cannot buy dedication to your cause. You cannot purchase a fucking loophole around the crimes of your soul. You cannot pay to go to war. You are just committing sins, okay? You are just doing it. You are just doing it, and no amount of money that you try to buy yourself out of the problems that you cause actually buys you out of it. The online left, of all people, apparent socialists, here and there, occasionally, trying to fucking articulate to me that charitable donations are a replacement for fucking actual material action on the ground is insane to me. It's fucking psychotic. Like, beyond the like, you guys aren't even doing the thing. Do the socialism. Do the socialism. You're telling people, you're doomering people on voting over a foreign issue that the vote won't fucking change? When there's 700 fucking issues, that's one of them. The other 699 are just as important. Sorry, when you get to the international most powerful person on earth stage of electoral politics, your bugbear issue is no longer the most important bugbear issue. I get it. It hurts. But unfortunately, some of us have to be fucking adults and make the darkest possible decision for the betterment of future generations. And he's talking people out of that, while slowly but surely pushing fucking American citizens, young and impressionable American citizens, quite literally into the arms of terrorists, which is disgusting to me. It's beyond the fucking pale. I have my problems with Destiny. I don't like that subsection of the internet either. I think they're being really fucking weird. There's a lot going on with that shit. I'm going to talk about it in a second. But unironically, by every fucking metric, some fucking how, despite the other side being fucking genocide apologists, Hassan's side and his subsection of the internet has some fucking how outpaced them in their fucking absolute lack. Their complete divestment from any sort of ethical conversation, from any sort of materialist analysis of electoralism or fucking American politics. And it's just some fucking tobacco nicotine addict sitting, like, I swear to God, if I was to find out there's 15 fucking piss jugs, like he's fucking Howard Hughes in that goddamn LA apartment or LA fucking mansion he lives in, I wouldn't be surprised. Just sitting there with the darkest expression you've ever seen, apologizing for terrorists, talking shit to the American working class, and trying to downplay or doomerize a very fucking important election. Possibly the actual last election in the 12-year fucking nightmare cycle we've been involved in. I'm lost. I've got to call my fucking neurosurgeon, literally. Give me a second.
Hope you enjoyed your time on the Westside.